Welcome to the Carmiece Radio Show. Here I go.
Washington, WMMJ HD2
Glad I made it.
Bethesda, and
Thought I might be in court today, but I handled that.
WLBCnews.com.
Settled that matter.
Views and opinions
Great.
of the following show
Big
do not
victories.
necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management.
Good morning and welcome to the Carmiece Graves Show. Get ready to get great information on knowing your rights on estate planning, bankruptcy, divorce, alimony, and much more. Now for today's show, here's attorney Carmiece Graves.
Good morning. Welcome to the Carmiece Graves Radio Show. I'm attorney CPA Carmiece T. Graves. I'm in the building. I got the mic. All right, it's spring. It is April 2nd, and we have finished the first quarter of 2019. So much is going on around the world. When I look up to my left, to my right, I just look back down. I'm like, my goodness, across the waters, we have issues with Brexit in our homeland. They're rolling out political this and that. We have, just a variety and myriad of issues plaguing us all the time, every day. And today, but what I wanted to do today is just add some energy, give you some insights, share some tips. I think we're doing really well. You have to choose that thought. You have to choose it. So this week, we're going to continue this discussion that I started last week on women in wealth and some things that I've noticed, some things that we can share, we can build upon. My approach, I practice estate planning, bankruptcy, and family law. And the way this came to me, the way these practice areas developed was out of a combination of my background as being an accountant and then my calling to come into the law and to really help people where they're suffering. Now, one of the things that I've seen is that women sometimes, we need to make sure that we have healthy self-esteem when it comes to our money. And self-esteem generally, now I'm not focusing on women, saying that women have more issues than men. I'm just talking to the women right now, because a lot of times women in our community make really good money. And what I've seen is sometimes we're really focused on developing our financial wheelhouse. Get your education, go get a job. I'm from the era where boys and books don't mix. You don't, go in there, get what you came to get. And then sometimes what you have is, a well-educated women that have not developed a lot of dating and social skills, that find themselves in some situations and problems and becoming vulnerable to those looking to take advantage of women now having degrees, having money, wanting to hurry up and settle down, hurry up and have a family. And some of those things, when you're looking at, and I don't want, women out there to be preyed upon by predators, so I'm putting the notice out there that it does exist, and you're going to have a healthy self-esteem regarding your money, because last week I rolled out the statement that will forever be a challenge, which is your net worth is a reflection of your self-worth. And oh my gosh, that is so confronting. You don't want to hear that. What are you saying? Money isn't everything, and money blah 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 doesn't define me, and but the relationship that you have with your money is the relationship you have with yourself. It's consistent. It's you. It's just one reflection. It's not a reflection that you can't change. It's not, cast in stone, but it is something to look at. It is something to challenge yourself and say, well, how do I feel about money? What decisions do I make about money? Do I think having a lot of money makes me more difficult of a person to be in a relationship with? Because what I found is we can see, here's a clear example, and any example that I give on this show, it's never to point a finger, it's never to point blame, it's just to say this is something that we do as human beings, and we can always choose to do something else. That's the one thing I like about pointing out issues and reflecting on them, because it gives me a more laser focus on what I need to do to change, to develop. It's always a choice, I've been listening to some work from Louise Hay, who's passed on now, but she always says, the only thing you're always dealing with is a thought, and a thought can be changed, and your thinking and your approach to your money matters. And what I've seen sometimes, so this idea that your self-esteem is a reflection of your net worth. Look at what's going on with our dear beloved Wendy Williams. Wendy is going through it, and look how it's affecting her ability to make her money, affecting her ability to show up, affecting her health, you know? And we all know to some degree that I don't know what's really been verified. I don't know what's really true or not, but we know that she's having some serious, personal issues, health issues, and it's affecting her ability to go out there and make money. And this is a very almost masculine topic anyway, like the idea of going and making money. Look at how it sounds. Like, you got to have your self-esteem together. You want to go out there and get the dollars. So, I have a caller on the line? Okay. I can hear you. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not really, most folks don't be calling in, but I have a call online. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. Beatrice is on the line?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
I hear from you.
Good.
I need to know. I have some inherited money, and my inheritance, which is an annuity, they want to take the taxes out before I get the money. Should I take the taxes out before I get the money or after I get the money?
Well, so you inherited money from someone's estate?
Yes.
And are you a resident in Maryland?
I'm a resident in Washington, D.C.
And the person that passed away, were they a resident of Maryland?
They're a resident of D.C. They're my mother.
Oh, okay. So when you're dealing with tax issues and concerns, I think you definitely want to make sure that you have the funds available if you're able to take care of the taxes. I mean, typically I would like for taxes to come out of the funds that I received. I think before or after, it's pretty much a preference. If you have the money to set aside, that's fine. But I think the key thing is to make sure that you know that there is going to be a tax liability. I'm questioning that. I think I would have to kind of look at the facts a little bit more, making sure I understand the bequest and seeing and understanding why it's being taxed. Because I know DC does not have inheritance tax, so I have some further questions about that. But I think the important thing is to know that there is a tax liability. And for me, I mean, I always say, go ahead, put it to the side so that once I get my money, I'm not going to be looking at a tax bill from the IRS later on after I've already used the money. So to me, I think I would go ahead and have it withheld so that your liability is covered and that whatever you get is free and clear for your use and enjoyment with no tax consequences on the back end.
Thank you so much for your help. I'll do that.
Thank you. Thanks for calling in. Thanks.
Bye.
Look at that, y'all. That's what you're supposed to do. You call into the Carmiece Grace radio show and you get your questions answered. You know, sometimes it's a quick question and getting me on the phone sometimes could be problematic, but you could call the radio station. What would it be? 1-800-450-7876. That is the number to the station. If you have questions about any topic that we've discussed here before, feel free to give me a call. But going back to this topic of self-esteem versus net worth, don't be offended by it. Don't be offended by new concepts. Don't be offended by new ideas. You don't have to take it as truth, but you can ponder it and look at it and reflect on it and see, is there anything that I can take from this? Are there any gems? And what we can see is, and I've experienced it, the mindset. Money is a mindset. Wealth is a mindset. It's an attitude. It exists before the money comes. And when you talk about money and when you talk about accumulating wealth, what are your attitudes? Do you feel that it's hard to make money? Do you feel that you don't have enough skills to make money? What excuses or what reasons or rationales are you putting forth for you not having money? That is the thing that you must change. There are many ways to do it. I'm all about it, whether that's positive affirmations, whether that's writing them, saying them, listening to, them in audio form while you're sleeping, but you're gonna have to get the mindset straight. Growing up, a lot of times, in our community, it's a little imbalanced sometimes where we set our youngsters, our young women up to go off and to be successful, financially, professionally, but not develop the other skills when it comes to relationships, so that you have a whole bunch of women that are educated and professional, and then when it comes time to relationships, the issues come up and the finances are hit sometimes, or they're vulnerable or they're preyed upon because now they're thinking, okay, I got to trade this or that to be in this relationship. I got to give him the purse strings. I got to make him feel like he's, doing what he has to do. And I'm not talking about relationships where partnerships have been formed, commitments and loyalties have been established, and it's been decided that my male partner is really good at managing finances better than me, and we're in that relationship and we've made that decision as a partnership. We're talking about when you're developing a relationship where you're not in that committed relationship, when you're dating, you know what I mean? And when it's severely imbalanced, you got, a good 6-figure job and homeboy sitting on the couch, eating chips. It's like this, hold up, why are you going to hand the purse strings over to this person? Well, if he had something to do and I give him position in my job, you know what I mean? I get his situation straight. I get him back in school. When you start saying things like that, watch out, okay? One of the things we have to know is you got to accept people as they are, as they come. We are grown, everybody done. That's what they're going to do. What they're doing is what they're going to do. So one of the things we have to know as women, you have to have that confidence, and it's the self-worth issue, and money is a matter of deservedness. How much do you think you deserve? Because that gets deep. If you go into that, you could get into all kinds of conversations about religion and greed and capitalism and hunger around the world. There's a lot of layers, and to the extent that answer is muddled with a lot of reasons why you don't need that much or you can't get that much, you won't have that much. There's people that's like, oh, there's abundance of money in the world. Why not me? Why not me? But if your response is, well, that's greedy, or I don't need that much, or those are your limiting beliefs. And I'm going to tell you honestly that healing your money and your wealth building really starts with emotions. What is your thinking? How are you feeling? It matters. And for some reason, people think that your hustle muscle is the most important thing, and it's not. You always have to take action, but the time, those folks that just spin around doing a whole bunch of stuff that don't amount to much of anything at all, a whole bunch of that, they're just doing a lot of busy work that doesn't make any money, that doesn't produce any fortune, that doesn't provide any value. You don't just want to be doing busy work. You want to do work that's inspired by your divine, intel that kind of guides you to doing what you need to be doing, that brings beauty and value and wealth. You don't want to just be chasing dollars. You want to be doing something that's fulfilling to you, something you enjoy, that provides a service or a good that you feel that's resolving a problem that you're here to resolve. And usually the problem that you're here to resolve is a problem that you've been struggling with for a long time. So you see, I've been on this money journey for a minute. That's why I can talk about it, because I've been working on it, I've been healing it, and I've been progressing, and I've been receiving results. And some of the things I've seen in my business and in my bankruptcy practice have been alarming to me and concerning to me, where I find that there are people that look out for women who have money, don't have kids, have disposable income, and really know that they're on these websites, these dating websites, putting the profile up thinking that, I'm single, no kids, and someone's like, yeah, I know what you want, a relationship. Here we go, let's do it, and tell them everything they want to hear, and not having that internal structure to kind of filter through productively to see whether this is a viable relationship, whether this is a true suitor, whether this person respects me, loves me, appreciates me, or, you not being able to do that analysis, and then all of a sudden you buy in love. They're looking for those that want to buy that love. I'll take care of this. I'll do it. Here's my credit card. Go ahead. They want to be somebody mama. You want a man or a son? Which one you doing? So anyway, we are going to take a quick check in with traffic and weather. We'll be right back. Stay tuned to the Carmiece Grace Radio Show. When I get back, I'm going to talk about some victories and tips in estate planning and bankruptcy world that you can employ in your daily life that I think have been just great victories for the Carmiece Grace Law Firm, and I want to share. So thanks so much. Please stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Washington, D.C. Carmiece's News Talk 1450 AM.
Well, it gets honest and it gets real. I mean, we're all just growing. We're all just learning. We're just trying to do our best, but not developing ourselves emotionally really matters to how wealthy we can and will allow ourselves to be, because there will be self-sabotaging decisions that we make. And I really want us in our community to think about that, because as much money as we make, the percentage that we keep trails miserably. And I know that with some conscious thinking about it, awareness about it, we can change it. And healing some of those things within will have us not make these devastating decisions over spending, keeping up with the Joneses, being house poor, buying a house too big just to, be in that development and have the biggest house in the cul-de-sac. All of those are low self-esteem moves. And when you make them, they mess up your money. Welcome back to the Carmiece Graves Radio Show. Coming back from break is always funny because I'm always talking on Facebook because I don't want to just sit there. But we were just, talking about, again, I'm going to leave this topic and I'm going to leave you to ponder. If you really want to make some changes, please don't be defeated in your thinking. You can think about great athletes, the great Michael Jordan. I know he had a mental coach. And when I found this out, that like Serena Williams and Michael Jordan and I don't know about Tiger, I don't know. But these great athletes stepping on the court have mental coaches that really forced or supported their mental vision for greatness, that they could see the victory, that they claimed the victory before they stepped on the court. Once I knew that that's what the winners, because I used to do a little track, so I feel like I'm somewhat of an athlete still, but just thinking and knowing that the greats went on there with mental support, that they don't step into their matches with a losing mindset, really impressed upon the importance that I feel that wealth is a way to win. When you get what you want in life and you're able to manifest what is important to you, that's winning. That's what we really want for everybody in the world, to know that they have the power to manifest what they want. So don't be too taken aback when you hear something that makes you feel uncomfortable. Look deeper. Take a minute with it and be like, I've had some breakthroughs recently where I wanted to kind of blame others for my response. And I sat with it. I honestly did. And I said, I know better than this. And I said, you know what? I'm really kind of disappointed in my own weak response to the situation, or how I've been showing up in the past. And part of the anger that I had was really towards myself. And that doesn't bother me to do that process, because once I identify it, I'm on it. I'm free to change it. So get some good books. Really spend some time. If you want to know where the money is, and if you want to know how folks are making it, go to the masters. Get the Millionaire Mindset. That was a great book. It really had me sit down and think about what were some of the things I learned about money growing up. What are some of the attitudes I had about about money, and whether it stayed within my household, whether I could accumulate a lot of it, whether it was going to always be overrun by debt, whether some tragedy is always going to come and wash it away, or did it come easily? For me, growing up, I'll tell you a little bit about my background. I have always been an entrepreneurial little girl, When I was 11, I had my first business, which was a paper route. I was in the Midwest, and I used to be down there with a whole bunch of adolescent little white boys, and it was just me, not no black boys, not no white girls, just me and the white little boys, and we out there getting, subscriptions, doing our paper routes, and I loved it. It was an idea that sky was the limit. I had my little business, and I managed it. So I've always been in the conversation of, as long as I provide a service or good, I should be able to get as much as I want because I'm providing something. Now, there's people that even have a freer thinking about wealth that says, I don't have to do anything for money. Because I'm here, it's like air and I'm entitled to it. And those types of folks, you'd be like, that person ain't got talent to the first. Why they got all that money? Because they believe that they should have that kind of money. And that's just a belief that they've been raised with, the belief that they have been indoctrinated with, and their life supports it. And there's an abundance. I'm always offended by this idea of there's limited resources, and why do this group of people get to have this amount and this group of people have less. And we don't look fundamentally to some of the underlying emotional currents that have money ebb or flow to people differently, and that matters. So if you want to be on the cutting edge, if you want to be on the leading edge, if you want to really have a magnificent life, spend more time on the soft skills. Help develop soft skills in our youth, our young ladies. Have it be important conversation that doesn't start when they're out of graduate school. Okay, we can't start the conversation of relationships and let them flare. Just, don't mess around with them boys. Don't mess around with them boys. Don't mess around with them boys. A balance is important. Having the relationship, if that's something that you want, let's start that conversation early. Because if we don't, we're not supported, if we're not nurtured, if we're not taught healthy ways of being in a relationship, being with ourselves, being with others, it's ultimately going to affect our health. It's going to affect our money. So it really is a holistic approach. So when we say that, your self-worth is a reflection of your net worth, it's not a capitalist view. It's not a materialistic view. Actually, it's a holistic view that money is one expression of how you relate to yourself. Your health is an expression of how you relate to yourself. How you keep your house is an expression of how you relate to yourself. All of these things are just expressions. And if that expression is something that needs some healing, look at the underlying hurts that need to be healed. Like if you're holding a grudge, forgiveness, you're going to have to forgive. You could pile up a whole bunch of debt based on just guilt. You know what I mean? Be mindful of that hurt, It's going to be different. It's going to be something that you probably might not have heard before. But I'm here to tell you, there's a lot of materials out there on this. Look them up. Look up The Millionaire Mindset. It's an audiobook, guys. I'm busy. I don't really have time to sit down and read a book because I'm reading the law, writing this. When I'm done, I want to be still. I want to chill. I'm not giving myself a whole, to-do list. So one of the things that I do is I have, audiobooks. I listen to them constantly. I'm really always feeding the fertile ground, like spring. Spring is in the air. You know what I mean? This is a time of blossoming. It's a time of weeding and seeding, making sure that the fertile ground is ready to go. You're tilling the soil. You're getting ready to plant something new so that you can experience a blossom and a bloom. That's what we're doing with, healthy thoughts, with affirmations. It brings the money. I promise you, more than I'm confident in every degree I got could disappear from my catalog and I would still probably create more money because I would be more reliant on the truth of where my money comes from, which it comes from my emotional well-being. There's plenty of people, that don't have this degree and that degree and they have wealth. It's always confidence. I've seen that. Colleagues I went to school with, confidence level out the roof. And the money they have amassed since we've left law school has been staggering, and it does not reflect on their grades. It doesn't matter where they were ranked. It does not matter what background they came from. It only mattered what they thought about themselves and their ability to have great wealth. And I see it. I know them. I'll probably see some of them next week if I make it to the 150th anniversary. So, tips, things that I've seen that have been working. I'm so happy to be a part of